This is the debriefing video for the meeting on the 10th of June, 2024, 6 p.m. by the Dalton Township Board. Fairly normal beginning to the meeting, over reports and that type of thing. Nothing at the first public comment. In our decision items, we get into the senior millage money allocation, and the rest of those funds that weren't used for snow plowing over the winter were allocated to Safe Seniors, which pursues scammers of seniors, and that was about $30,000. Next, annual sewer rate increase. This was approved 4%, so it went from approximately $41 to $43 for a change in both those. Next, the cemetery ordinance update. This was approved with the caveat that next month I'll bring back to the board further decision about the time frame of when the township takes those back. And the cemetery coordinator will talk on that in the report next month as well. Next, the old Civic Center land sale proceeds, seeing as how the township ended up not making any money on it. There's technically no proceeds if you were to deduct the cost of demolition of the old Civic Center site and all those things that occurred in years past. That money, a little over $12,000, is just going into the general fund. Next, the Twin Lake fireworks, that was approved. Everyone's looking forward to that. Next, the home occupation ordinance. This had gone through the process through the planning commission and everything. That was also approved. Largely clarified some things, eased up a little bit. Next, the land bid opening on East Lakewood Road for $35,000. We had one sealed bid for $35,000, and so that was accepted and approved. Next was the land sale proposal on East Forest Park, very small piece, 0.12 acres, and this was put as a minimum of $700 for the next meeting. Next was the land sale proposal on Lakewood and Russell, much more of a discussion, most complex land deal that we've done, and we're taking proposals on it. And this proposal is, or the one that we're looking at right now, that put in for it, was for residential development. So a decent amount of debate on where those numbers should be. The motion, which ended up passing, was to put it up for a minimum of $220,575. So that's a minimum that we'll see at next month. And we have one proposal on things being done. We'll see if there ends up being another proposal. And I'm inquiring with lawyer on if we should adjust the buy-sell agreement, that type of thing, just because this transaction is different. So I'm reaching out to the title company and working on that process. So a lot of these things are done, right? We've partially, or we've sent in the sewer rate increase, the senior millage money. I've sent out the email on that. Christy's working on the foreclosure stuff, which that is next. So the foreclosure purchases, the township board ended up approving 11 parcels, the smaller parcels, including everything, including fees, actually, that you have to pay. So $30 per parcel to the county. She's working on that now. So it comes to just over $5,600 for those 11 pieces, which makes sense because they are connected to other township pieces for someone using them, purchasing them, and using them in the future. Next, land sale application form, minor adjustments on there, but useful information, including email, that type of thing. That was approved. Next, automobile paving petition, and this was approved. So I sent that petition into the road commission, and we'll see. I assume it'll take a couple of months or a few months for the road commission to get back with us with numbers, and then that whole process with 4 resolutions and the 2 hearings will start. Next, we have our discussion items, the resident thank you. It was decided by the board to do the resident thank you this year. The letter that's written and included in the packet here, the one that was proposed, and then everyone's interested in doing it in the future as well. A process will have to be further developed on that. Next, we have board field trips, and this was determined for the specific portion that Cedar Creek is talking about on Border Road of Dawson Road, just north of M120, to send delegates or representatives, essentially, so less than a quorum from Dalton Township. Everyone else on the board that wants to check it out can go over there at any other time. And then later events, people are interested in. The board is interested in that, potentially doing 1 or 2 tours of businesses and getting a better understanding of them per year. So that'd be something down the road. Next, we have the West Lake treatment. This is for weeds in the lake. Obviously, some people think it's being treated appropriately. Some things being overtreated. Some people think it's not being treated enough. So there ends up being a whole range. And obviously, the companies are going to say that they do it correctly, whichever way that may be, because of their own personal interest. And so it was decided we should try to get something more objective, some sort of a not treatment company. And so I've emailed and reached out to Grand Valley to see if they'd be willing to come out and test it and give a more objective report. And we'll see if they're willing to do it. That's great, like Grand Valley. If they're not willing to do it, then I'll keep reaching out to places and try to find something that makes sense. Then we had our final public comments. McCabe came up and said that the trustees should have emails essentially, and had a weird cartoon. And Tucker had mentioned that she's trying to arrange interviews for the candidates in the primary in August. It's really only the supervisor here that is a competitive thing, because the trustees, they're split between a Democrat and Republican. There's enough open spaces on each side that they'll go into the general election in November. I believe we have 5 trustees filed, so 1 won't make it, but they'll all be on there in November. And 1 treasurer and 1 clerk have applied, Christy and Tracy, the current ones. And so those aren't competitive races. But for the supervisor, 3 people have put in on the Republican side. So the election in August will most likely decide the election. Now, someone can still technically put in for a while in July for an independent race, which could be in the general, right? But the supervisor one ends up becoming important very soon here, or now. And so she was talking about holding an event where you don't have them together. You're not doing a debate, that type of thing. It's just that public can come in for individual times and have for the candidates individually to be interviewed essentially by people. And so it seems like a good idea. The board was on board with that. So that will be arranged here shortly, I assume. Next, Rachel from the library had mentioned various things happening at the library. They have the Wednesday get-togethers at 6 p.m. there, that type of thing. And then the last public comment was on the person that requested the 2.53 acres from the list, the large list of the land sale in Lakewood and Russell be excluded, which the person that requested, the developer let them in that and requested that, said that's fine. You would verbally exclude that piece. But they asked where that was in the process, essentially, because they put in a request, but I just got the request yesterday. So we'll see that at step 1 in the next meeting, where the board is deciding if it's going to go for sale and what the process is going to be, or what the board wants to look at for information for setting a minimum. And the next month, set a minimum, the next month, open the bids. And that concludes the meeting. So any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, concerns, feel free to reach out. The direct line at the office is area code 231-332-6700. That's my direct line. If you want to talk to someone else in the office, I can obviously transfer you. You can call the general number or email supervisor@daltontownship.org. Otherwise, this is Jeff Martin signing off. Until next time.